on immigration, on the DHS memo, two parts, if I may. Is one of the goals here mass deportation?
No.
Not at all.
This isn't, look, I think what we have to get back to is understanding a couple things. There's a law in place that says, you know, if you're in this country illegally, that we have an obligation to make sure that the people who are in our country are here legally. What the order sets out today is ensures that the million or so people that have been adjudicated already, that ICE creates a system of prioritization, and make sure that we walk through that system in a way that protects this country. This is consistent with everything the president has talked about, which is prioritizing the people who are here, who represent a threat to public safety or have a criminal record. And all this does is lay out the exact procedures to make sure that that subgroup of people who pose a threat to our nation because of a conviction or a violation of public safety or have a criminal record are adjudicated first and foremost. That's it, plain and simple.
So is then, a follow-up to that, is the White House's message today to undocumented people in this country whose only crime is being in this country illegally, don't worry, or you're on notice?
The message from this White House and from the DHS is that those people who are in this country and pose a threat to our public safety or have committed a crime will be the first to go, and we will be aggressively making sure that that occurs. That is what the priority is.
If you're, the others who aren't? They're watching this fearful right now.
Cecilia, the president has said multiple times that we've got to look at this issue on a very, very holistic way. And the number one priority, when you look at the scope of how many people are in the country illegally, the number one priority is making sure that people who pose a threat to this country are immediately dealt with. And this is not a small group of people. We're talking close to 1 million people who have already been adjudicated and had their status processed through a formal due process system. And so what we need to do now is to make sure that we focus the resources and the efforts on those people going first and foremost. And the fact sheet and the information that we put out lays that out very, very clearly, what is being done. But for so long, the people at ICE and CBP had their hands cuffed behind them, and when they were going to deal with the mission of their job. The last administration had so many carve-outs for who could be and who couldn't be adjudicated that it made it very difficult for the customs and enforcement people to do their job and enforce the laws of this country. But right now what we've done is to make sure that they have the ability and the guidance and the resources to do what their mission is. And that's it, plain and simple. And the president is consistent with his priority of making sure that those people who pose a threat to this country are the first ones to go.
On immigration, just to follow up, the president has a carve-out himself for DACA.
Yeah.
Can you explain the process, expand on what you were saying on Thursday about the process that the administration is taking?
Yeah, I think this is what I was basically talking to Cecilia about, which is the president's made clear when you have 12, 14, 15 million people in the country illegally, that there has to be a system of priority. And right now, ICE's priority is going to make sure that we focus first and foremost on that. He's specifically in the guidance, it talks about that DACA and DAPA, unless someone who fits under that program fits into the subcategory, is not subject to what is being dealt with now. Remember, everybody who is here illegally is subject to removal at any time. That is consistent with every country, not just ours. If you're in this country in an illegal manner, that obviously there's a provision that could ensure that you be removed. But the priority that the president has laid forward and the priority that ICE is putting forward through DHS's guidance is to make sure that the people who have committed a crime or pose a threat to our public safety are the priority of their efforts, first and foremost. Caitlin.
John Kasich. Can I follow up? Let me follow up.
Yeah.
The president has also, and his team has also had reservations about undocumented people in the United States who are beneficiaries of public assistance or access to benefits either at the state or the federal level. What is the president going to be doing to either issue guidance or executive action of some sort to indicate that he would like to preclude that from continuing?
I think we have talked in the past about the respect that the president has for taxpayer monies with respect to sanctuary cities and the enforcement measures that he's putting forward on immigration. Right now, obviously, the actions today are focused on people who are in this country and what we need to do on our southern border to facilitate the building of the wall that he's talked about. So we're doing this one step at a time in a very methodical way, and right now the focus is to make sure that ICE and CBP and DHS have the authority and the resources to carry out that first mission. We will have more, and it continues to see that immigration is one of those issues that he was very, very clear and consistent on in the campaign, and we're going to continue to implement the policies that he talked about to keep the country safe. Caitlin.
Thank you. John Kasich has been a very vocal critic of President Trump, even in the campaign, saying that his immigration plan was crazy, his statement that the elections were rigged was silly, and he did not endorse him and did not vote for him. What is the president hoping to accomplish with their meeting at the White House on Friday?
So, Governor Kasich has reached out on multiple occasions to meet with the president to follow on, and the president, has shown through the transition and since time in office that he wants to meet with anybody that can help move this country forward and share in his vision. I think that includes people who are with him, who are not with him, who are on the other side of the aisle, who are independents, union workers, business leaders. Now that he is president, and frankly, I would again date it back to the transition, he understands that he's the president for every American. And he's talked consistently about having a united country. And you do that by bringing people together, whether or not they agree with you on every issue or one or two issues. But if there's common ground that can be found to move the country forward, then great. And I think so many of the president's priority issues are issues that Ohio is dealing with, and that he wants to make sure that he can continue to work with Governor Kasich so that every American benefits from his thing. April.
Did Kasich ask for the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
John, okay,